What you know about chilling in the back of the bug? What you know about rolling the back of the bug? We pull up with pulls in the back of the bug. Them honeys getting all lit in the back of the bug. In the back of the bug, yeah. In the back of the bug, yeah. Just imagine the back of the bug. Hustling in the bug.
Yo, what's good, guys? Governor Gus, Trading Got Me. Today I'll be explaining imbalances, if not, I wouldn't necessarily say FVGs, but imbalances directly. And yeah, pretty much how to use imbalances and how to trade using imbalances. And to be more specific for me, or to specify, I'd say I use imbalances or FVGs for other people, volume imbalances for some. I use it as a counter trend, or if not a counter strategy, where basically I wait for it to fill up the imbalance, and after it fills up the imbalance, I expect it to go back in the opposing direction. So if it's a bullish imbalance, I expect it to go into a bearish retest or retracement after it does fill up the imbalance, and that's where now I would enter and calculate the depth, or if it creates more imbalances in the opposing direction, just literally put my take profits or most of my executions is according to those imbalances. But let's get right into it. I'd say this is US 100, pretty much going to be focusing on this whole part here to figure out the rest of the part. If not, you know the scenario. With that said, let me just zone it out so people can see. So this part is imaginary. Yes, we're always chilling in the imaginary realm, but obviously, man, something like that. If not, I can even put it all the way there. It's the same thing. Anyways, so as we can see here, this is clearly not an imbalance since there was a wick, but if you do go closer, and then I'm sure you will surely find a wick. Yes, right there. So that right there was the first imbalance from this trend. So let me just move it to that screen. It's a little bit bigger than this one. Okay, no. Back here. Whatever. Slight glitch, slight delays. Sorry about that. As I was saying, this was our first fair value gap, the one up there. Our next one could be, or not could be, is this one most definitely. And thereafter, the next FVG I do see. Let's drag them all the way. All the way, Charlie. All the way. Okay, the next one I do see that makes sense is this one around there. And then that is also one right there. Okay, as you can see, these were our imbalances created at that moment or at that period in time of the market, and from those imbalances we expect price to drive up. So from what I was explaining, it's I expect, for example, like here, price went up, it drove down, sorry about that, just get rid of you got rid of everybody, bro, bring them back. Yes. Price drove up. And after it drove up, you'd expect it to drive back down after filling up an imbalance. I'd say that is the most basic scenario. But in this term, we also want to be looking at where liquidity is. But for now, we're not focusing on liquidity since that was in the previous video. Right now, we're focusing on how to implement the imbalances. So with that said, you'd ensure the imbalances are in a logical manner, and you'd also ensure that it doesn't penetrate the bottom imbalance. As long as it doesn't penetrate the imbalance at the bottom, then in a bullish scenario, that would be a clean entry. Like for example, around about there. Price drove, consolidated in that imbalance, and then it drove up. It got rejected, and when it got rejected, it started playing around the FVG or imbalance that was above it. So it basically started ranging in between here, as you can see there. Started ranging in between those two imbalances. Until price finally drove through and up above the imbalance on the higher level. And then from there, we could say our next FVG is this one right here, which was a pretty wide imbalance, as you can see, but now price is ranging in between these two imbalances. The same way it was ranging between the two lower imbalances. So basically you can you can see price enjoys playing in between balances, and it basically goes up a level every single time, and the more it goes up a level, the more it secures your entries. Like I initially said at the bottom, if your entry was around about this level, after this level here, you'd have been secured because it broke and went into the next two imbalances, if you understand what I'm saying. So initially, price would have bounced back initially if price would have bounced back, then that would have made it invalid, because it basically meant now that price is about to start ranging in between those two imbalances. But now since price drove up, started ranging in between these two imbalances, and then drove up again, that basically meant this one is now left and is not really meant to be felt or filled. So it's basically an irrelevant order or an irrelevant imbalance that they don't really need to fill up. And I'd say those would be your best entries, because most of the time they don't really want to fill up those until a later stage where there's now liquidation down there, and that's when it will most probably be filled. But otherwise, I would say that's the basics on imbalance. And I'd say the key characteristics of this one is basically how price can range in between imbalances. Let me just take this. How price can range in between imbalances. And if you want to secure yourself initially, you would put you in hopes of it going through the next levels of imbalances. So you're not really certain of when to enter with an imbalance. That's why I pair it with liquidity, But if you do know how to read imbalances, and then you'd know how to also execute as according to the market, because if you add liquidity, then you'd know that liquidity was taken out here with a swing low, and then that basically means your entry would be around there, because now this is basically distribution after the swing low. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Hope you guys found it informative. Governor Gus, Trading Card.
What you know about chilling in the back of the bug? Getting money in the back of the bug. I'm hustling in the back of the bug. Shooting that shit in the back of the bug. In the back of the bucky. These niggas is hosting a party. We under these homies. It's getting too rowdy.
I could never crash out. I could never crash out over no bitch. Fuck is you talking about?